Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the second round of the F1 Total Esports division. We are here at the Yas Marina circuit, the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. My name is Anila Phoenix One, and I'm joined today by Gabri. Welcome.
Hello, Felix. Glad to be in the commentating box with you. And as you can see, qualifying is about to play for round number 2 of the esports event, and it's Abu Dhabi. Funny enough, we start with the first round of the calendar, which was Bahrain, and we start the second round of what we know as the last track, which is Abu Dhabi. But anyway, it's not the last one for us. It's just round number 2 of the Middle Eastern Tour. And qualifying is about to start now. And after last week's round in Bahrain, AMR are currently leading with 49 points. NLR is in P2 with 41 points. So, Felix, as a representative of the NLR team, how does that make you?
We're not leading, so the entire team is a failure, and we should simply disband. Quite simply. No, in all seriousness, it's a very good opening round, I think. Both from a neutral perspective, was a very great race, very enjoyable, and obviously we won the race in the end. The main reason that AMR actually is leading this championship now are the qualifying points. So that shows again how crucial those points can be. Since I think we only scored like 4 points in qualifying from Luca, I believe it was, and Gavroche went out in Q2. And then Gavroche had to come back in the race to win from P11 on the grid. So, yeah, even if you win the race, you are not necessarily going to be the driver or the team with the most points out of that race. Since the points for qualifying are very, very important. You get quite a few points in the end. It's 10 points for pole position and 30 points for a race win. So, yeah, 1/3 of the... a pole is worth 1/3 of a race win, basically, and that will be very crucial over the course of the season, that you have both a good qualifying and a good race to score the most points possible.
And what makes it even closer is that in the race, the gaps between every position are very, very small. Like, you have 30 points for P1 and just 22. So it's already just a gap of 4 points compared to the 7 in the normal point system. So, it is really that close. I'm just excited to see that because I wasn't there last round. So yeah, looking forward to it. And we can already see some drivers with inters and wets on this round.
Yeah, of course. As we already saw last week, I think as we're used to seeing in league racing with full qualifying, the first lap in Q1, most drivers will be out on intermediates, or in this case even full wets, even though the track is dry. Just getting their wheels tested, any sort of last minute adjustments maybe. Or just, making sure everything works correctly. And then, because obviously you don't have a lot of soft, you only have 4 softs available for a full qualifying session, and over 3 different qualifying sessions that you need those softs. You don't want to waste one at the start of Q1 while the track is just completely green and you don't have a lot of traction. So it just makes sense for most drivers to start out on the intermediates on the full wet and use the tire that you just don't need anyway to get... just get out on track, I suppose. Test your wheel, make sure everything works, and that's, the lap obviously will be pretty irrelevant that you put in, since anyone in this lobby who does put on a soft should be able to beat it.
It's gonna be a much different story once we get to the wet races. Like Jeddah next week will be wet, so I don't think we will be seeing many interesting qualifying.
Yeah, they might need them for the race in that case. I think you have 3 inters and 2 full wets, so I will say,
yes.
I don't think you're going to be wanting to use I don't think you will need 3 inters if you have a normal race. So maybe you can use the 1 inter in the qualifying still. But you shouldn't use the full wet, you might need those. Since, for the wet race next week, which is scheduled... Normally we use dynamic weather, so it could be wet as well, but obviously we are in the Middle East, it's not very likely to be wet. For Jeddah we will have a custom weather set, where it will be raining at some point during the race. A 22.8 is the first lap time on a dry tire here from Daniel. KJ has invalidated, so he's not going to be putting in a lap time despite the fact that he's on a soft already. We also have Ryan Van Dink in the Williams, the first time we see a Williams out on track actually in the F1 Esports, not F1 Esports, in the F1 Total Esports division. Since last week it would have been Esports Pack in the Williams, but they did not attend, and once again they missed the deadline for lineups this week, so seeing as they'd already missed the deadline for qualifying night as well, and then they didn't have anyone racing in Bahrain, and they missed the deadline for Abu Dhabi, we decided we're gonna invite XR8 in instead to take their space, and from now on we will see XR8 in the Williams for the rest of the season. So they are, well, essentially one round behind everybody else, since they didn't get to compete in Bahrain. They were actually the team who finished 11th in qualifying nights, and they were very unlucky to miss out on the on qualifying for the event in the first place. But now they're in, and we're back up to 10 teams. The reason we have 19 drivers in the lobby today is that the second driver for Legacy Racing, which is the VCAB in-game, is serving a qualifying ban. So, seeing as the qualifying takes quite a long time, he's just gonna be joining us later once we restart the lobby for the race. Obviously collisions are turned off, so we will have to have a restart after qualifying anyway. Same as last week, collisions are turned off, mainly to avoid slipstreaming, since it's a massive time game, like up to a second a lap, if you do it well. And we just don't want that deciding the qualifying. As we saw, for example, in the F1 Esports series at China, the entire lobby pretty much in one train in qualifying, that just is a bit silly. And added benefit, blocking is much less of an issue, since at worst you can be distracted, but you can't get physically blocked by anyone. So that helps quite a bit as well with making the qualifying more fair. Toby into the final corner, the only Legacy Racing car in this lobby at the moment, of course, and that's a 22.653, the fastest of the dry tire runners. We also have Ryan Bunning on the softs. He's already, I think, on his second lap on the set since he invalidated the first one. So that will be hurting him a bit of tire wear on the car, but a 22.806 nonetheless, that's faster than Daniel by just under a tenth, and he goes into second place. I don't think we have anyone on a soft compound tire out on track right now, at least not on a hot lap. So for the moment we have a calm...
Misha is on the inters, but he has invalidated.
Yeah, there's a few guys in intermediates, but they are just going around pretty much. I do see Flume and Batiste. Batiste starting a lap right now on the medium. So he's at least on a dry compound, and that should put him ahead of all the guys in the inters from Zipala downwards. But yeah, same as last week, Q1 starts off very calm, bit slow, but then it will kick off quite a bit later on. The gaps will be very close once we go into the competitive lap times, I would say. And I'm expecting...
to get into Q2 with the mediums.
Yeah, I mean, if you do manage to go into Q2 with the medium and you save the soft, that would be quite useful. Of course, we have a lobby restart anyway, so... And that also completely invalidates our points about saving wets and inters that we talked about earlier for next week. Since we have to have a lobby restart after qualifying, you get fresh tires anyway.
Oh, that's right.
So yeah, if Batiste can use his medium to go into Q2, that will of course mean he has 4 softs available for the next 2 qualifying sessions, so you can use 2 each. And that will be a big advantage, I would say, if you can have 2 fresh runs, because normally in Q2 most drivers will be on a used set at the start. And even in Q3, quite often people will have a run on a used tire at the beginning, which I wouldn't say it's useless, but you are quite a bit slower. And on a grid as close as this, those 2-3 tenths you lose on a used tire will cost you so many places. So if you can make it on a medium into Q2, massive advantage. And that's P4, 22.994. I don't think that will be enough, sadly. We now have Flume on a hot lap as well for Sierra. Of course, hasn't put a lap on yet, so he's currently 18th. But yeah, now a lot of drivers are on hot laps and there's no intermediates or full wets to be seen anymore. So, now that we're halfway through Q1, we're finally getting into the serious stuff. The drivers are gonna put the best laps they can possibly put into the asphalt here. And at the minute...
Yeah, I think I can see Mafio, Flume, Tamalink, EJ starting now with the softs. Engel as well starting on the main straight. We're gonna make space close to the line. It's AGK Racing, so yeah, many drivers starting at the same time.
Yeah, they're going out early enough and they can have 2 runs, so that if they have anything happen on this lap, they can have another chance. which is smart, of course. You don't want to be left right at the end of qualifying. You would make a little mistake and validate, and all of a sudden you're out in Q1. And for Flume, that's second place, 22.802. Now on board with Mafio, 52.8 middle sector. Bit of old tech used down towards the final sector here, which of course was reprofiled a couple of years ago. It's a lot more flowing now, I would say. But this corner right here, really tricky. You have to be so careful on the throttle. As Sam Arling goes top, 22.293. A significant gap there now from P1 to P2, and once again AMR looking very strong. Mafia goes 8th fastest with a 23.470. AGK Racing hasn't validated, which is what I talked about earlier. You want to go out early, so that you have enough time now in this case that you can do another lap. So, not a big concern for AGK Racing. He should be able to put in another lap that will put him safely into Q2 still. Angel around the final corner, he goes 5th fastest. AGK Racing back to the pit lane.
After the chicane on the back straight.
Now on board with Lumi, 53.2 middle sector. At the moment, we only have the top 10 on a dry compound lap. Everybody else still either on the intermediate or not put in the lap at all. So yeah, next one across the line will be Lumi. Last one, I think, was running a non-ERS most of that lap, so he abandoned at some point. He's going again now. And Lumi around the final corner, that is going to be a 123.242. And right behind him, Sepala. He goes top, 22.144. 1.5 tenths at the moment separating the top two. But those two, I would say, are the only ones that we don't really have to care about in Q1 anymore. They should be safe. With a 22.6, I'm not sure if that could be enough already. Misha 22.7. So yeah, I do think that could be safe. I think if you are in the 120, like, 2s, you are somewhat safe, maybe, at this point. Javier Martin also in the AMR car going 3rd fastest, so both AMR drivers now very far towards the top. P2 and P3 for them at the moment of the minute. Okay, I think you need a bit more than the 22 at this point. Yeah, there we go, GT10 coming in hot as well. Thomas already very fast in qualifying last week. I think he picked up some wing damage in the race, if I remember correctly, which cost him quite a bit. And last, Final Linden also now into the final corner, the second NLR driver. His teammate currently in 1st place, and he goes 2nd place. It's an NLR 1-2 at the minute, and that is absolutely what you love to see. And with that, I think we can safely say both NLR drivers into Q2. Q3, don't get ahead of ourselves. Only Q2 for now, and I think the same for AMR and GT10. They look pretty safe there, with 3rd, 5th, 4th and 7th. Boompian 6th, also doing quite well so far.
The two Evolution Racing drivers are very much at risk. P17 and 18 at the moment, and they are still in the pits. And only 5 minutes left to go.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, from P16 downwards, that's a drop zone. So Bumble, KJ, Mafio, and AGK at the moment would get dropped out. We saw AGK last week, and he had, obviously, he took pole position, started on the soft, and ran away with the race at the first stint. Then got caught in lots of traffic during the second stint, which cost him the race win in the end. But still, he showed he had incredible pace, and he was up there in the qualifying as well. All throughout Q1, Q2, and Q3. So if he gets a clean lap in, he should definitely jump up as well. Well, that did not look like it could happen at all, I would say. He missed the apex by quite a bit. So a bit of a mistake on the entry. That would have cost him maybe 1 or 2 tenths. Definitely far from optimal. For all the braking boards removed already, as they are placed on the racing line, unfortunately. So you can't take any grievances with the drivers driving straight over them. And for AGK Racing, that is going to be a 52.8 middle sector. And that is not the fastest we've seen, but definitely decent and should be enough to get him to Q2. That's all that matters at this point. Whether you are 15th or first in this Q1 session, really doesn't matter whatsoever. As long as you are through to Q2, that's all that is necessary. And for AGK Racing, as he goes into the final corner, he's currently down in 19th, but that will change in just a moment as he goes over the line and jumps into 9th place, 22.757. I wouldn't say he's 100% safe with that, but definitely in a good position to be through to Q2. We have
somewhat of a decent position. Yeah, well, now Ryan is improving. I think he was improving. I didn't see the delta time.
Yeah, I didn't see his delta time, unfortunately. We'll know in just a moment as he goes into the final corner. His teammate in 10th, he's currently in 12th. The first race for X8 this season, of course, and he doesn't improve. Stays on the 22.806. Both Evolution racing cars out on track and on the hot laps now. Mad Dog's retiring in the pit lane, so he's confident that he's done enough.
KJ is only improving by 20 thousandths after sector 1. Well, that's not really the most technical sector of the track, but still not really a great start. But let's see how he can take turns 6 and 7. The chicane is pretty much crucial here.
That looked pretty good. A bit loose on the exit, but all within reason. His teammate was 33 seconds, thousandths of a second down in sector 1. 4.5 tenths gain, that's massive.
Oh, okay.
So he must have made a mistake in sector 2 earlier. His teammate Mafio down by almost 2 tenths in the middle sector. He will not be improving most likely, unless he has a major improvement in the final sector now. Oh, and KJ on the final corner invalidates. He's done. Or is he? I mean, he has enough fuel to go around, because he's also invalidated this lap. He has to go around the track in under 1 minute 40. That will be easily possible. But he's gonna put a lot of tire wear on those softs, and it'll be a very tough ask for him to improve from here. Or at least improve by enough to get him to Q2.
Like maybe if he improves, he can go up to 3 tenths at most, given the tire wear. Because he can definitely improve the sector 2, but it won't be as much. So yeah, KJ could be very much out.
Yeah, it was a very unnecessary mistake as well. He was just went wide coming out the flat out corner on the second last corner with flat out, yeah. And then a bit wide on the entry for the final corner. Just a millimeter over the white line basically. And just like that his qualifying could be over. Currently on board with Angel as he goes into the final few corners.
But in the meanwhile he's making sure he can go to Q2, and he was just improving by a few hundredths of a second after sector 1. No?
Angel jumps into 6th place, IRT now 6th and 7th, they should be safely into Q2. But his has gone out on the soft, so he's not confident that the medium soft on the nut, and he's up by 2.5 tenths in the middle sector, which actually is a lot less than I thought he would be. Teammate Bombo Pro as well, out on track now. Lumi starting his lap in just a moment. Yeah, all of these guys towards the outside the top 10 are out on laps in the moment, apart from Ryan in 13th. Flume coming around the final corner, and he goes 10th fastest. Moves his teammate down to 11th. Baptiste jumping into 5th place, so massive gain in the final sector. Next driver across the line will be Lumi. Sorry, Daniel, then Lumi. Got the two mixed up. Daniel up by 2 tenths in the middle sector. Lumi up by 1.5 in the first sector. Bomball Pro also 3 tenths up in the middle sector. Ryan could be in big trouble here in 14th, and he can't improve on that lap he's already done, since he is in the pit lane. He might just end up being knocked out here. Daniel into the final corner, currently 15th, just about not in the drop zone, and he puts himself into 12th, and that should be him having done enough, maybe. Misha, a bit up in the middle sector, 19 thousandths.
He can go up.
And that's P14 for Misha. AGK Racing now just about still in qualifying. Ryan is out. We've got Lumi and KJ. KJ comes over the line. It's only 17th. It's all about Lumi against AGK Racing. That would be a big name out in Q1 after what we saw from him last week. And over the line, that's P17 for Lumi. And AGK Racing just about scraped through into Q2.
Yeah, just by barely half a cent, 757 against an 806. So that's AGK through. And out of Q1 are Ryan Bank, Lumi, KJ, and Matthew. So both Evolution Racing are out. And then we have, I don't see the name now.
Yeah, both Evolution Racing drivers in Mafio and KJ out at the bottom of the grid as well. And then Lumi in 17th with Ryan Bunning in 16th for XR8, also out of qualifying. And he's only 6.5 tenths of P1 and he's out in Q1. So the gaps is you have to be within 6 tenths of P1 to be, or well, just over 6 tenths of P1 to be in Q2. So once again, really, really close gaps. It's an NLR 1-2 at the top from Supala at last, and AMR looking very strong as well in 3rd and 6th. GT10 in 4th and 9th. IRT in 7th and 8th. We've got quite a few teams here looking strong. So we should be in for an exciting battle here for the Q3 spots. The top 10 will make it. Everybody else will have their qualifying ended in a couple of minutes.
There we go. Q2 is now underway. 15 minutes on the clock have started ticking. Now, obviously, everyone is in repeats, but they will be out soon. And I don't think we will see interest as well on this run because it's a little bit more competitive than Q1.
Yeah, you need to get out early here and put in competitive lap times. There is no reason to waste time, like getting ready with intermediates or anything like that.
Yeah, Thomas is the first one in softs.
And yeah, immediately the guys are out of the pit lane. Thomas followed by Daniel right behind him. So after what we saw in Q1, I'm expecting like a mid 22 to be the knockout time. Like a 22.5, around that should be roughly what you get around the P10 area. So this could be very, very interesting. We saw how close the gaps were, and yeah, it's very hard to predict who could end up going out here. We already had one driver who was very, very fast last week in AGK Racing, make one little mistake, and that almost knocked him out of Q1. So now imagine that in Q2 he would certainly have been out, and it wouldn't have even been close. You need to be on your absolute A game if you want to stay in qualifying. And the first one starting a lap is the Aston Martin, the GT10 driver, Thomas Balcher. Down to turn 1 he goes. Braking at about 75 meters, staying in 50. A bit of a slide on the exit.
Ooh.
But the car has been caught, he's fine. And down the hairpin. We'll brake just about where the curb starts with a 50 meter board. There we go, very nice. All over the curb on the inside and on the exit as well, obviously. DRS enabled as we go down towards the chicane. Reaching 320 kph. It should be about, a bit more actually, has a bit of a low wing there. 100 meters, the braking point for the chicane. Stays off the curbs mostly, only slightly taps them pretty much. And now once again DRS open and down towards the long hairpin. Of course we saw a beautiful overtake from Lewis Hamilton on George Russell at the 2024 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. 53.0 millisecond. That's a bit slower than we saw in Q1 from those guys. He could be on a used set of tires, of course. Actually, let's see if okay, no, it says 0 laps, but that is often glitched, I believe, if I open the tire graphic. Very careful the throttle through the final sector here, and now into the last 2 corners, called fully flat through here. down to 4th gear for the last corner, rotate the car in, and that's a 23.126 as the first lap time set in Q2. Daniel goes faster immediately, 22.822. 310 Mad Dogs, 23.4. Misha, 23.0. Flume, 23.7. Angel, 23.9. And the next car across the line is Sam Arling. So at the moment only one driver in the 122s. So maybe my prediction of 22.5 was a bit ambitious.
Yeah, this time in Q2 look definitely is lower than the top we saw in Q1. But
yeah,
this is still the first run, so
I think it will be a lot of drivers on used tires. 22.6 now from Sam Arling. Next driver across the line will be Baptiste for HRT. Used low of the ERS and he's already run out and he's gone 7th fastest, 23.5. Last, next driver who will cross the line for NLR. Of course, he's been on vacation around Asia for the last 6 months in about 30 something different countries. So he's not been playing much F124 and it shows that he's a bit out of practice as he invalidates a lap. AGK Racing over the line, he goes first, 21.977. So after barely making Q2, he goes top by 7/10.
And it's the first one we've seen all such long.
Yeah, that's by far the best lap we've seen today.
In the 22s.
And I think that confirms, I mean, either AGK is just pulled out an absolutely magical lap and everybody else can't compete whatsoever, or a much simpler explanation, and much more realistic I would say, is that everybody else is on used tires, and AGK has gone for a fresh set here in Q2. And I think AGK, I suspect AGK might be safe with a 21.9. It's just a thought though. Oh, Wumpy with a bit of a slide, I talked about this earlier.
Moment.
Yeah, how you have to be so careful there through the hotel. But Wumpy getting caught out. Still finished his lap though.
That's not even the worst corner.
That's still 22.8, it's still 4th fastest.
But that corner where he lost it, it's not even the worst corner. Like, the worst is the upright Latifi corner, like the one where he actually lost traction. So the left, what I say, the left of the left-handers. And
yeah, like, it's like a double left-hander. I know what you mean. The second one, you know, after you go under the hotel, exactly. And then the second one out of those two left-handers, that's the worst one. But the first one also is not really great for traction. You just have to turn like so intensely that the car is very loose in the rear, and if you're like a little bit too eager on the throttle, it just goes round and you end up, well, with a massive slide, massive time loss. Yeah, AGK retiring in the pit lane with 8 minutes to go. He's very confident and for good reason with a 21.977.
It's not gonna happen, but it will be the funniest thing ever if he gets knocked out.
Nah, he's not being cocky, he's just... I mean, if you do a lap like that, fair enough, you're through. I'd be willing to bet my life savings on that right now.
I wonder if anyone else will even try to go into the ones.
I mean, yes, that's what they're doing here. They're trying to go as fast as they possibly can.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's still Q2. Like, it's still not the where you score points. So you definitely push a lot more than Q1, but not at the 100%. Is what I mean.
No, these guys are like always at 100%. Believe me. At least in my experience, I'm actually more consistent when I drive at my peak than if I try to like underdrive, you know, because then I need to consciously think about how I'm driving, and if I just do my thing, I'll be at 100%, and that will be the most consistent I can be because it's just what I naturally do. If you try to force yourself into like driving cautiously, you overthink and you'll end up making mistakes like much more often actually. And Sapala, you can tell Sapala is definitely not leaving anything on the table. He is very much all over the place on the exits there. And that is a 1:22.056. Less than a tenth of AGK Racing. That should also be him safely into Q2. Javier Martin in third place, 22.263. Lars van der Linde through the final corner, and that's going to be a 1:22.082. P2 and P3 for NLR, P4 and P5 for AMR. I think we've got our two title contenders found out quite early on here. It looks like NLR and AMR are setting the pace for the second week in a row. But AGK Racing, he is up there with them, and not just up there, right now he's the fastest of any of them. So at the moment we've got Misha, Thomas, Mad Dogs, Baptiste and Bomball knocked out, but that will change a lot I think once those guys also put in times on a fresh set of tire, which I think many have not done yet.
Bumble is now the only driver with no lap time set, and his teammate is in dead last, but still 5 minutes left to go, so they will still have one run, and I think we will be getting much faster lap times than the one that's ever now. And Boston, he's just last.
Yeah, he just finally put a lap in, but he's still down in 15th with that. And at the moment, HRT are 5 tenths off the next fastest car in AMR Misha. Or, well, he's not in AMR, he's driving for XR8. That's a bit confusing, that he has a different team's name in his username.
Yeah, having the team AMR when you're driving for Ferrari, that's just diabolical.
It's doubly confusing, because when I read AMR I think Aston Martin, but that's GT10. And then there's AMR Misha, who's not even for AMR, and he's in the Williams for XR8. That's just so many layers of confusion in my head. I can't deal with it.
You know, Sam Alding was very close to his team. Like, they were P4 and 5 at some moment, but then Sam Alding just dropped down to 9th, so he's more at risk than he's seen before.
But he's very much risky when he's down to 9th now. He needs to definitely improve on that lap again. And I think the 22.5 prediction I put in at the start actually does seem to add up quite nicely now. At the moment, P10 is 22.8, but I expect some improvements in that still. We still have 4 minutes to go. And yeah, at the moment I don't think... no one is on a lap right now. Lars retiring in the pits as well. Same with AGK and Sapala also now, so both NLR drivers confident they've done enough with the 22.0s they've put in. And I think that confidence is very well justified.
Bunchi is currently out of qualifying, but he only needs to improve by just a few hundredths of a second. Daniel will look forward to improve as well. Sobi and Misha are hundredths of a second close to each other, and just tenths to go out of the knockout zone. So, yeah, really cannot predict which one of these drivers will be eliminated.
Yeah, it's gonna be super close from here on out. I mean, we already talked about in Q1. One little mistake, that's all you need to do. And all of a sudden you can be going from safely into Q3 to knocked out immediately.
Bumji will be the first one to start, and just behind him is Sam Alding. Then we have at the Mercedes it's Flume. That is very much far. And Bumji will start now.
Yeah, here we go then. The final laps in Q2 have officially been started. And Bumji down the 4th gear for the first corner. But using a bit of overtake now, down towards the S section. Well, can you call it an S section? If it's fully flat, then just... I mean, barely a corner in the modern Formula 1 cars. 2 tenths gain in the first sector alone, so a very good start in the lap. And of course he still has 2 more sectors to go to find more time. He is very much looking good so far. Sam Arling also right behind him on the lap. Currently in 9th, his teammate in 4th, he's going to try and join him. Interesting that Thomas Bartre is staying in the pit lane, while Javi Martin in 4th place actually is back out on track, so he doesn't think he's safe. And now Thomas has come out finally, but he's a bit late. Is he going to make the line? Could be close.
Yeah, it could be very close, especially if he runs on non-ERS.
I unfortunately missed Bumpy Stella 762 because I wasn't looking at the screen for a moment there. So we'll have to wait and see what it ends up being over the line. Currently he's in 11th, he would be knocked out. So he's going to need to improve on the first lap that he's done. And he does do so, 22.540 P10. Sam Arling goes second fastest, 21.981. Bumpy back down to P10. Baptiste is currently on a lap. Daniel, Toby, Misha and Bumble all on out laps. Daniel just going across the line now.
If Daniel finds 3/10, it's over for Bumpy.
Yeah, Bumpy is definitely in big trouble here. He needs to hope that none of these guys find some time. I mean, HRT are currently looking quite far off from getting to Q3, sorry, with a 23.5 and 23.6. Batisti's up by 4/10, which is a lot of time game, but that's still him being P14. That wouldn't even put him ahead of Misha. So as it stands, HRT would finish Q2 in 14th and 15th. And it does not look like they're going to be able to change that. Baptiste coming into the final corner now. Let's see if he's done a good final sector here. Over the line, that's going to be a 1:22.404. He has done enough actually. Baptiste into Q3 with that. Bumpy is now out and not on a lap anymore. And now Flume is on the cusp and he's down by 10 seconds. He will not be improving. So now we're looking at Daniel, Toby, Misha and Booper. Misha is way down the first, they will not be improving. He's out in Q2. Daniel crossed the final corner and over the line. That's going to be a 1:22.305, 6th position. And now Flume is out as well. Toby in the final corner. Baptiste is back on the cusp of being knocked out. Over the line for Toby goes 3rd fastest. Baptiste now knocked out. Angel also on the cusp. And we're looking at Bumble Pro in 15th. He's the only one in the knockout zone still driving. Misha is not going to be improving. 23.624 is previous best. He needs to find 1.2 seconds. That's just going to be quite a tough task. And he has a major moment in the last corner. And he actually would have almost made it. And I think without the oversteer moment, he would have made it actually. But sadly, he invalidated and stays in 15th position. He would have been in P12, I believe, with that lap time. And without the little snap he had, that could have even been enough to beat IRT Angel to 10th position. But well, if buts and maybes you can't buy anything from that, you are out in Q2 at P15. Misha in 14th, and then Bumpy out in 13th. Flume qualifying 12th, and Baptiste in 11th. Both HRT drivers out in Q2. Sierra losing 1 with Flume, while HK is in 1st. IRT, well, Angel barely made it, Bumpy barely missed out, and then we have Misha for XR8. His teammate already out in Q1, he's also now out in Q2, so no more of HRT, no more of XR8 in this qualifying session.
You could really see Bumble just wrestling the car, pushing to the absolute limit at every corner, but it was just not enough. He just kept overdriving and actually led into a mistake. But
just look at these gaps.
4,000ths of a second.
The top 7 within just over a 10th. This is going to be a very exciting Q3. And I mean, we have Angel with a 22.400, and then Baptiste missed out by 4,000 of a second, Flume by just over half a tenth, Bumpy by 1.5 tenths. Yeah, we've got a very, very close lobby here once again. Just Bumble Pro, who of course, he was up by over a second though as well at the end. So he would have been right in the pace as well, he just made a mistake on his previous laps. That is looking like a very, very interesting Q3 and then a very interesting race as well.
And now we go into Q3, and this is finally where the points are awarded. And it's the point system that up until 2009. What was it? 10?
2010 is when the 25, 18 and so on point system came in. So this is the point system from before 2010.
So it's 10 points for P1, 8 points for P2, and then from P3 to P8, 6 down to 1. So there is a gap of 1 point between every position. So P8 we will have 1 point, and then P9 and 10 no points in qualifying. So yeah, 10, 8, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And this is finally when we will see the absolute fastest lap times we could ever imagine. We did see the 21.9 earlier by AJK Racing. So maybe it could be 0.7, do you think?
Yeah, I guess there's another 1 or 2 tenths to be gained here in the final qualifying session. The track now at its absolute peak, you would think. If all the track evolution haven't come in, the drivers are gonna be coming out of the pit lane immediately last, the first one who's come out. But once again, we could be seeing quite a few drivers on a used set of tire, as we did at the start of Q2, and immediately on the outlap, Lars just removes all 3 braking boards for the chicane. But like I said, they are on the racing line, so we did say before the race, if they are on the racing line, there will be no worries about hitting them. But just don't go out of your way to hit the ones that are not on the racing line. So I'm expecting,
will be the one,
yeah, like a 21.7 as a pole time. Interesting that Javier Martin and Mad Dogs are both still in the pit. I think Mad Dogs is just coming out now. Yes, yeah, Javier's the only one who has not gone out on track yet. And there we go, Lars starting the first lap of qualifying 3. And once again, all the braking boards for turn 1 have been removed. They lasted a whole lap at least. Well, no. They didn't, since no one went past there yet. They lasted 1 car. The very first car that comes towards the braking boards for turn 1 instantly removes them. 17.3 first sector for Lars. And now the has enabled all-take mode use as well down towards the chicane. Reaching once again 320 kph as we approach the braking zone. And absolutely sending the car in all over the curb. That would have, I think, lost a bit of time as he bottomed out quite a bit. And once again, bit of all-take mode used down towards the hairpin. The very long hairpin here. 52.5 middle sector. We certainly saw faster earlier, so it could be another used set. Of course, he is purple as he's the first one to complete a sector 2 at all. Oh, that was really nice. The car very responsive. A bit of a slide coming out of the Latifi corner and into the final corner for Lars. He's not going to complete the lap, he is not happy at all. We've got AGK and Daniel coming up to the line as well. .9 from AGK Racing again. Toby 22.2, Daniel 23.3.
Sam Alling now across the line. He's now going around the final corner. It's at 21.9. Just 9,000th of a second.
Oh, and a disconnect with the worst possible timing for AGK Racing. I'll try to get him back in.
He will retire because it looked very weird to me that he would retire at a time like that. So
I don't think he has me added, so I can't invite him. Oh, he does. There we go. Invite sent to AGK Racing. I hope he can get back in quickly, so he can have another run in qualifying.
Javier Martin is just starting up now, while Mad Dogs is finishing it.
Sapanas and Valde his first run, by the way.
Oh, so that's already a big time loss in the qualifying session. Mad Dogs 22.1, just a few hundreds of a second behind his teammates, so GT10 in P3 and P4. And Javier Martin is just finished sector 1 with a 17.4. So it was just a little bit slower than last lap time for the P1 into the pits. So now he has de-enabled on the back straight. Let's see what top speed he can reach. If it's still 320 or even more, let's see. A slightly more, 320. For a bit of a lockup and miss the apex on the inside.
But he keeps going anyway. Once again, reaching close to 320 kph. Misha back in the lobby, but AGK Racing still nowhere to be seen. 52.6 middle sector for Javier Martin. His teammate Sam Arling is in second place. I don't think he'll be on course for any lap like that, but we'll see how far he can still go. At the moment, AGK Racing 11,000 ahead of Sam Arling for pole position. And of course for the 10 points that will go to Sierra. GT10 also very strong there in third and fourth, very close together. And over the line for Javier, that's a 22.321, sixth position.
Angel went very wide and invalidated around the hotel.
Last starting another lap as well now. He abandoned his previous one, of course, so he's gonna have to try again here. I'm not sure if we have enough time to finish this lap, go back around for an in-lap and then the out-lap. Could be close on time for Lars. 17.3 first sector.
I think he actually still has time. Like those 40 seconds more, I think it still could be enough. I mean, he could just push as possible on the in-lap and that he could make it in time.
Yeah. AGK Racing back in the lobby.
Is back.
Oh, that looked a lot better for the chicane. But I mean, did you see the turn in for Lars? You would think he's been playing F1 24 like all day, every day since the game has been out, seeing the way he just turned in for that corner, but no. 52.5 middle sector.
The steering was smoother to turn 9, but at turn 6 of the chicane, it just in nanosecond went into turning the wheel 90 degrees.
I want to see how his arms moved for that. Like seriously, how does he do that? The way is, I mean, it could have been like a bit glitchy inspecting the cam, but it looked like it was flicking back and forth. AGK Racing retiring in the pits, interestingly, and Lars over the line with a 21.947. That's third fast. And AGK Racing is left again. Oh, I think he had the glitch where he couldn't take control, and then we left the lobby, the car got tired.
Oh.
That is very, very unfortunate for AGK Racing. He's still on pole position, but he does seem to have been screwed by the game.
Yeah, he could definitely miss out on important points. He could drop to P3, maybe even P4 or P5 if GT10 improves even more. And by even more, I just mean 2 tenths.
Yeah, he said in chat he couldn't get in the car, so I guess he pressed quit to main menu, which since F1 24 retires your car. So that AGK Racing with well, a major hindrance to his qualifying chances. He is still on pole position at the moment. But everybody else will have one more run, I think. Lars will also make it around in time for the outlap, I think. And he is stuck on that 21.915. And seeing how close it is, I mean, Sam Arling and Lars also 21.9, then both GT10 drivers, Thomas and Mad Dogs 22.1s, Toby 22.2, Javier 22.3, Danny 22.3. Sepala and Angel, I mean, they also have, we saw them in Q2 with very good lap times. I think Sepala was at 22.0 and Angel 22.4. Yeah, AGK Racing could end up dropping quite far down the grid. And not just down the grid, of course, it will also cost him and Sierra points, crucially. At the moment, 10 points going to Sierra for the pole position, but that could change if Sam Arling, for example, gains only 11 thousandths of a second. And Sam Arling is the first one who leaves the pit lane for the final round, quite early there with 3 minutes to go. Everybody else still waiting a bit longer here. Of course, Sepala and Angel, they are the only two with no lap time at all so far, so they need to make sure that the one lap that they do have ends up being a clean one.
There is movement in the GT10 garage. It's Mad Dogs going out for his teammate. We have Javi Martin as well going out right now. Then we have, I don't think it's Lars and Sepala first.
Yeah, they're all gonna come out at once now. We've got 2 minutes left to go, so they need to get out of the pits.
Yeah,
so they're gonna be
in the pit lane.
in a bit of a train here, which could be an issue. I mean, it's still ghosting enable, but still, you don't want to be driving right behind someone. It's still distracting. So...
And they can't even slow down that much because it's only 2 minutes left on the clock. You cannot afford to lose that much time to distance you from the other cars.
Yeah, they need to get a move on. I mean, Angel's coming out only now, is very late. Sam Arling starting his lap now, just as everybody else is coming on the out lap. So, for Sam Arling, this could be a very important lap. It could be the decider if he ends up starting a pole position or not. 22.915 to beat. And he's up by 36 thousandths in the first sector. And the hairpin looked really smooth. The ES enabled down towards the chicane. And the straight line speed looks really strong. I think it's going to reach about 323 maybe? Just over 320 actually, not quite.
He flicks the steering wheel almost like Lars going into turn 6.
I mean, yeah, you see a lot of drivers do it. It's just about how aggressive they do it. It's well, not exactly realistic, but it's the way you go fast in F1 24. 1.5 tenths gained in the middle sector for Sam Arling, a very strong lap so far. That will put him well into the 127s 121.7s. Jesus Christ, I can't talk. Everybody else coming across the line now to start their laps, as Sam Arling is just going to the final few corners to start or end his lap. And into the final corner for Sam Arling, that is going to be a 121.741 pole position for the moment. Mad Dog's up by 90 thousandths in the first sector. Can't see anyone else's sector time. Thank you, Codemasters. Javier up by 77 thousandths. Sepala with a purple sector 1 apparently. Next one across the line will be Mad Dog, so we'll go on board with him as he goes into the final sector, the deciding sector of the lap. He's currently in 5th place on a 22.156. Let's see what it can be for him then.
Oh, watch out for Lars, he's improving by 2 tenths and a half.
Oh, that's Fridge older Lars, and that's a massive time gain in the middle sector. That could put him on pole position here. And that looked really good once again. We're having a look at Mad Dogs on the... Oh, and Lars is invalidated!
Oh,
Mad Dogs did not improve.
Corner.
And Lars will not be
invalidated.
Lars will not be improving either. Daniel next one across the line is currently in an 8th. We've got Thomas Balcher as well, he's down by 22 thousandths in the middle sector. Then we have Javier Martin coming into the final corner. And he's gonna jump into P4. Sepala over the line. He goes fastest out of nowhere, 21.733. And unless Toby or Angel can do anything about it, Toby goes third fastest, 21.832. And Angel into the final corner. The last one still going. He hasn't put a lap in yet, but over the line it's a 22.627, and he goes into P10. And that's qualifying done here in Abu Dhabi, and it's an NLR pole position for Sepala. Absolutely beautiful. Stealing it right at the end with no banker and only by 8 thousandths of a second over Sam Arling. Toby taking 3rd place for LR in AGK Racing after the disconnect and the issue with the rejoining not being able to control. Only P4. Lars, P5 after invalidating what would have been a really good lap for sure, would have put him in the top 3. So P1 and P5 for LR, P2 and P6 for AMR with Sam Arling and Javier Martin. GT10 in 7th and 8th. Taking the final 2 points playing position in qualifying with Daniel in 9th, and finally Angel rounding out the top 10. Very exciting qualifying, and if that's anything to go by, the race could be an absolutely amazing one once again, as we saw last week in Bahrain. Could be another one.
And it could have been easily an NLR 1-2 if Lars didn't invalidate, because his lap was looking extremely strong. So it could have been 18 points already in qualifying for NLR, but Lars will actually only start in P5. So that's only 10 and 4. So only 14 points for NLR in qualifying.
Yeah, I mean, still, I'll be very happy with 14 points, and with a P1 and P5 starting position for the race. You can definitely work with that. I mean, could have been even better, but let's not be like too ambitious. It's a very good result. Of course, we have a race to start now, but I mean, we are just going to see drivers like straight line the wall. Yeah.
Reversing off the start line, that's beautiful.
Let's see, at the end of the turn 1, no brakes used whatsoever. How's Daniel not DNF?
Oh
Oh,
no,
yes,
we're a
okay.
safety car.
I wonder why. There's only about like 20 cars in the area. Right, Mafio and Misha are the only ones still going. They should be hurrying up, please, so we can get ready for the race restart, and then we can get into the 29 lap Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. And there we go. That's everyone retired, and we can make sure the grid is set, and then we are ready to go racing. Right, I will just very quickly grab the grid off the stream, so I'll be quiet for a bit, just getting that sorted, and then I can send it to Daniel for the lobby host. Since he's hosting the lobby, he needs to set the grid.
Oh, you already sent the results in the Discord chat.
All the results or just Q3?
All of them.
Ah, perfect.
So yeah, wait, who's gonna be the driver to save the qualifying ban?
That would be Leo Lopez for Legacy Racing, who's gonna join and start from last.
Okay, so from P20 to P1, the order will be Leo Racing, Mafio, KJ, Lumi, and Ryan. We have, let me see the other photo. There we go. Bumble, Misha, Bompier, Flum, and Baptiste. And in the top 10, we have Angel, Daniel, Mad Dogs, Thomas Besser, Javier Martin, Lars, AGK Racing, Toby, Sam Alding, and MC Para on pole position. So that's the order from P20 to P1.
Yeah, a very, very good qualifying from both a neutral perspective and from my my bias as an NLR manager. I could not be happier with how that went.
Yeah, we know your bias is just a lot more significant than your neutral view.
I mean, what can I say? I would be lying if I said I was not very much in favor of NLR 1-2s every week.
You still gotta have the neutral view. So if you do like a strategy, expose them for that.
Right, we are gonna have to hope to get Leo into the lobby like soon. So that we can get going. He hasn't added me, so I can't invite him, I think. I will double check quickly though.
And Daniel said the grid is done. So yeah, we're just waiting for him at the moment.
Nope, he has not added me.
Okay, I just said he needed an invite.
Right, he's in. We can get going then. Very nice. We are all set up and ready for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, the second round of the Esports division.
Would you say hard mediums would be the strategy to go?
I would say that, yes. The soft does not last for a long time. The usual stuff in this game, really. You can't.
Yeah, but more towards the hard mediums instead of medium hards.
I wouldn't say that. I think the undercut is going to be really strong, so the medium hard is stronger, and also the hard lasts for quite simply the whole race. So, and the medium does not. So it's a lot less like risky to go for a medium hard and say there's an early safety car. You can just box for the hard and go to the end from there, no matter when the safety car comes out. And then if you start on the hard and get an early safety car, you're kind of screwed.
Undercut is very strong around here.
Yeah, I mean, on this whole game, I feel like every time I do commentary, I say undercut is very strong, so you have to do medium hard. Same thing every track, every race. Pisses me off. Can we get some other strategies for once than medium hard everywhere? It's so boring. What happened to two stops?
No, I actually remember, I don't know what track, but I do feel like there is one track where like maybe hards are so cold that you have no grip, and then maybe an overcut will better. I just cannot remember what track.
Could be Vegas.
Probably Vegas, that's what I thought.
Ah man, I
What
remember
about
like
Vegas?
5 years ago,
remember...
6 years ago, back in the day, F1 2018, F1 2019, we actually had two stops on some tracks. Unheard of nowadays. Unbelievable. We just need to like quadruple the tire we're on this game to make it interesting again. Right, enough old man talk. We're on the grid. We're ready to go. The drivers can put in their setups once again and their race strategies, their fuel loads, and then we'll get going. So I'm predicting an Alain win. Of course, I have to back my voice, and with Sepala on pole, only makes sense he would bring home the race win as well. But what do you think?
I'm more thinking about whether it will be a 1-2 for NLR or just a 1-something. It depends on Lars.
Damn, you have
Because
even
he
more faith in
definitely
NLR
had a
than me.
I mean, it was meant to be a 1-2 in qualifying. We just saw how Lars was, other than pushing steering through the chicane. We just saw how fast he was. Just that invalidated Latifi corner that cost him, but he still has the chance to get up to P2. So yeah. But again, there's too many factors to kind of predict that.
I like what I'm hearing. You're predicting NLR 1-2. I'll take it. But I mean, I would say like it's very much up in the air. I mean, the gaps we saw are way too close that we can sit here and say it's definitely going to be an NLR 1-2 or anything like that. It's a crazy close grid. And the likes of AMR, GT10, IRT, AGK Racing for Sierra are going to be very tough competitors. And I think I mean, also the rest of the grids are very much no slouches. So it could be anyone's race if. I mean, even if you are down, say, in 18th, 19th, 20th, you never know. And on a grid like this, it's fairly close. You can just stay in the DRS and a bit of chaos, and all of a sudden you can find yourself towards the front, and then, yeah, you can go from there and just see what's possible.
Track limits could play a huge part too.
Definitely. I mean, the track limits are just as strict as they always are. If you go over the white line, we saw so many invalidations qualifying already, so you can expect a couple of warnings and time penalties in the race as well. But for now, we have a race start, and that'll be very simple. Racing between Sepala on the left-hand side and Sam Arling on the right-hand side, down towards turn 1. Sepala with a very good start. And I think he'll be safe into turn 1. Sam Arling having a look up the inside and actually does outbrake him completely. Sam Arling takes lead into turn 1. I said Sepala was safe. I clearly have no idea what I'm talking about. AGK Racing back up into third place off the line. He's jumped Toby down towards turn 1. And they all settle into a bit of a train already. AGK Racing having a look up the inside of Sepala, who goes very wide. Lars up the inside, and there's contact! Sepala, I think, with wing damage. Toby... And there's more cars squabbling in behind. Massive. Oh, and they're 5 wide down the straight. What on earth is going on? That looks like NASCAR more than Formula 1. Holy shit, what is this? And obviously there'll be more content and more wings flying. That is...
There's so many winglets flying. Oh my...
How do I comment? What do I commentate on? I can't... yeah, my head is absolutely gone. This is... this looks like NASCAR pack racing. How on earth am I supposed to tell who's who? And Toby with an awful start. He's now side by side with his teammate for 13th.
Toby kind of like got sandwiched and it caused a chain reaction. Toby has wing damage. So many cars have wing damage at them. So.
And there's more wings flying. I think that was Flume. Boompje pushing Misha right off the track, and there comes Ryan Banning as well. And we've got Little Sister or Lumi in the barriers at the. And it's Lars into the pits with a virtual stage car deployed. For Lumi, who's gone straight into the barrier, lost his entire front wing. Lars in the pits, Misha in the pits, and there could be more as well. Mad Dogs into the pits as well. So yeah, these three have got significant wing damage which they have to fix after lap 1. I'm surprised it's only these three. I thought it'd be way more, honestly. That was one of the most hectic first laps I have ever seen. They were like 5-6 wide down the straight.
Already after turn 1.
Incredible. Right, let's check the front wings at the front. So AGK looks good. I think Sam Arding is good as well. Zapala seems good. I think Thomas is fine. Baptiste is up to 5th. I mean, if we have a look at the position changes, Baptiste has gained 6, Boompje has gained 7, Ryan has gained 9.
Thomas is missing an end plate.
Is he? I missed that.
Yes,
oh yeah,
right hand plate.
So, wing damage for Thomas in 4th position. Still not under VSC conditions here. There we go, we're back underway, and... Why is Boompje not pit? His wing looks destroyed, and yeah, you can tell with the understeer. And he makes contact with Ryan, almost into the spin. Makes contact with Flume as well, now they're 3 wide. And Boompje has to back out, Ryan takes 6th position. And yeah, Boompje's right hand side of the front wing is completely destroyed.
I think Angel as well is missing the end plate. Yes, the
and Boompje now into the pit lane to get that front wing changed, yeah. Finally releasing everybody else into clean air, but that was an absolutely insanely hectic opening 2 laps. I think we've calmed down a little bit now. Baptiste all over the back of Thomas. The wing damage for Thomas very clearly affecting him. And Baptiste with an absolutely amazing start to race is already looking at moving up to 4th place here after Brandy start. I mean, he's up 6 places, so he started 11th. Ryan is up 10 places, he started 16th, he's now 6th. And Baptiste with the DRS pass on Thomas Welcher. Not much the GT Tender I can do about that one. And Baptiste takes 4th place in this race, although Thomas could come back at him with the DRS on the next straight. In the meantime, AGK Racing has secured a 1-second gap at the front. He started on the mediums while many others behind him are on the hard. But it's a fairly equal split. I think it's a few more hard runners than mediums, but there is quite a few guys on the medium as well.
So I'll be looking for the inside of Javier going into turn 9 and these...
Oh, they make contact!
Make contact and Javier... Yeah, Javier just almost Gasparani, he just dropped a few places now in P10 and actually Bumble might overtake him around the outside of turn 12. And yes, he does.
This is going to be a long, long night for the stewards. Angel with a 3-second penalty for multiple warnings already on the 3rd lap. Fastest lap of the race for AGK Racing as he extends the lead as he has at the front. Javier Martin looking back up the inside down towards turn 1, but decides better. Doesn't want to go for that one.
It's a DRS train from P6 to P13, from Ryan to Mafio, all within 1 second.
Yeah, I mean, at Bahrain you had a way longer DRS train, but we didn't have an opening lap like that. It certainly caused quite a few gaps between the cars at the front, that they are all about 2 seconds away from each other in the top 4. Thomas is struggling to stay with Baptiste. Boompje is back in the pits again, so I think his team maybe didn't change his front wing last time around. As Flume goes for the move on Ryan, moves up to 6th. They are chasing after Thomas up ahead together. They might be just working together with the DRS a bit. I don't think Ryan was fighting that at all. Would be quite a smart thing to do, I would say, if they are trying to work together to catch up to Thomas and Baptiste up ahead. and join the fight for 4th position. Boompy rejoined the track in last place after making 2 pit stops now as well. So not a great start for him whatsoever. And yeah, from P15 and downwards, everybody has had to already make 1 pit stop for a wing change. So they're gonna need to be hoping for a safety car here to get back into the race. And even then, of course, they still have a lot of places to make up. We do have a nice train forming now, from 4th to 13th here, from Baptiste to Mafio. Zapata is gaining on Sam Arling for 2nd place, and that could be crucial later on in the race, depending on how they, but what they end up doing. Red Bull going very wide there. I think that was Angel coming out of turn 1. Zapata and Sam Arling, they could either try and work together to catch AGK, or they can start battling and AGK will run away with this race. And I think Thomas is just about hanging on to the DRS, but he's still. But Froome is looking racy right behind Thomas there. Of course, on the medium compound of tire, he'll be faster early on, and with Thomas' wing damage, that will be amplified even further.
That we go for a move on Toby. Toby does not have to switch Daniel up into P8, and I think he just needs to gain a few hundreds of a seconds to stay in the rest of Ryan ahead. So Daniel trying to recover some time from the cars ahead.
It's worth mentioning though, Daniel is missing a front right end plate as well. He also got caught up in the chaos in the first lap, it seems. Damage not too bad for him.
I mean, those first laps, I pretty much every corner I saw at least 3 cars into the same corner.
Yeah, and I think I saw a wing flying into every corner as well, so there must be like 10 cars still going on with damage. AGK Racing with a 3-second time penalty. Only 6 laps into the Grand Prix. Does have a 3-second gap as well to Sam Arling though, but that will be, I think, closed in again later once Sam Arling goes for the medium compound of tire. Mafio makes a move on Angel for 12th position, but he won't have DRS down the next straight, so maybe Angel will come right back at him. And we've got Bumble Pro all over the back of Toby, who is looking at the back of Danny as well. Danny doesn't have any DRS, so that will allow both Toby and Bumble Pro to maybe pounce on him. There comes Bumble Pro, going for the move on Toby, who's boxed in behind Daniel, can't do anything. And Bumble Pro with a move on Daniel up into 8th. Daniel has a look back around the outside into the chicane and make a bit of contact. But they all end up fine in the end, and Toby now with a better exit also gets Daniel up ahead. We've got Thomas on the back of Froome. Froome just going for the move into 5th, chasing after Baptiste as Thomas is finally dropped out of the ES to him. 2 by 2 into the left-hander here. Daniel and Toby still battling on the exit, and Toby coming out on top around the outside. Zapata is caught up to Sam Arling for 2nd place. Angel with the 2nd time penalty up to 6 seconds already now. Froome almost back in DRS range to Baptiste, so the battle for 4th place still very much on. Just everyone behind Ryan Banning dropping back a bit more. Bumble 2.7 seconds back from Ryan, so the train separating quite a bit here. And Froome, is he gonna get DRS of him? I think
on Sam Arling.
Yeah, Zapata should be in a position to make a move. We'll see if he goes for it into chicane or if he waits for the 2nd DRS straight. And I think he's gonna go for it here. Yep, Zapata slipstreaming past, got a yellow flag for Mafio, I think, who had a spin out of the hairpin.
Yes, drove down to the 14th. Yeah, I think he had an oversteer.
Sam Arling gonna go back past Zapala, who lets him go as well, so they're working together here. Zapala and Sam Arling seem happy to work together to catch AGK.
Fighting with Bumble at the chicane.
And Javier Martin in behind, trying to get involved as well. Of course, he was a lot further up the grid early on. We've got a crash at turn 1 for AMR Misha, as Javier Martin goes around the outside of Daniel, goes over the track limit as well, but rejoins the track ahead, and they are now side by side still. And Javier is back out. He might have had an illegal overtake as well. And that's Daniel back up into P10.
There's a McLaren going slowly.
Full course safety car! Zapata's round! And he's lost entire front wing! And it's a full course safety car out on track.
He lost it at the Latifi corner, and the debris has brought out the safety car on track. And now this changes everything. Absolutely everything.
And for Sepala, this is absolutely awful because he's gonna have to do a 21 lap medium stint from here. And the same goes for all of the other hard runners. They have just been screwed royally by the safety car. Sepala with a spin, running in third place, chasing after AGK Racing together with Sam Arling. And all of a sudden he's in the barrier, with the front wing no longer attached to his car. Safety car being brought out immediately. He rejoins the track in P10. But, well, with a medium compound, which... IRT Angel disqualified from session. He's crashed in the pit exit! And the game has disqualified him, because he's blocking the pit exit.
What is happening today?
Oh my god.
What on earth is happening in this race? Honestly.
I have never, in my 6 years of league racing, seen someone get disqualified, not on purpose, by blocking a pit exit or entry.
Like, how do you miss braking point for the first corner of the pit lane? Like,
I mean, I think what has happened is that he crashed in the pit entry. I can't know for sure, but I think that's what happened, that he crashed in the pit entry, which is absolutely incredible.
No, I saw him stuck on the pit exit.
Pit exit, yeah. He like in the tunnel. And he was. I mean, by the time I was on his camera, I had already taken control. But he was parked in the barrier in reverse gear. So I'm pretty sure what happened is he like just missed the corner. But maybe Angel is gonna say something. I mean, if I was Angel, I'd be hiding in a corner somewhere right now. So I don't think I'm gonna hear from him now. That is quite something.
So AJK will still be in the lead and he's on the hards, so except for the track limits penalties, he's on the right strategy and, well, on the on-track position to win the race, but the track limits penalty
Remember when I said, like,
set him back.
Remember when I said anyone could win this race, even if they're down at the back, like before we started driving? Look at Ryan Bunning, he's on the right strategy now, he can go to the end from here rather easily, and he started in 16th, and the same for Flume, he started in 12th, he's now in 3rd. And they are, well, essentially the closest competitors to AGK Racing, who has a time penalty. Of course, yeah, Sam Arling is there in 2nd place. I do think the guys on mediums will try to go to the end, but they're gonna struggle very hard to make those mediums, work for that long of a stint.
I think both two of us put the biggest commentator curse on NLR.
Yeah, I think we did. I mean, what do I even say about how this race has gone so far? At least I think we now have a nice, clean slate. Everybody will have a fresh front ring, some fresh tires on the car. We can be calm now, be normal. Hopefully. But I mean, the grid is so jumbled up. I think there will be so much movement because, like, some of the fastest guys in this lobby from qualifying are way at the bottom. The likes of Mad Dogs, Boompier, Lars, Mr. Parla, Javier and Knife as well. And then we have guys who were quite far towards the back in qualifying, all the way up there. So it's not 100% a reverse grid, but it has a bit of that character now. Where you're going to see so many drivers trying to move up through the field at once, and that's just going to cause a lot of chaos, I think. So this could be, yeah, even more scenes as we start the race once the safety car comes in.
We did see 5 cars going on the straight just before the chicane. I think we're just going to see 6 cars at this point.
I couldn't tell you if it was 5, 6 or 7 cars side by side there. It was absolutely insane. I described it as NASCAR pack racing, and I think if you put the 2 images side by side, you couldn't see a difference anymore.
You know, just put the entire grid on the straight going side by side. That's 20 car going wide. Like,
yeah, fuck it, why not? I mean,
what do you say? At 20 wide.
There's lots of runoff you can use, I suppose. I mean, at some point the barrier is gonna like come in, but at that point I guess you have to just brake if you're on the outside. But yeah, the likes of AGK, I mean, Sierra is in an absolutely amazing position right now. They've got their two drivers in first and third on the strategy that'll bring them to the end of the race, for sure. Ryan also in a very good position. Bomball in 7th on the hards. And I mean, next hard runners are down in P13 and onwards, so these guys, Daniel, Lars, Mad Dogs, Lumi, Boompia and Misha, they might be at the back now, but they are gonna gain quite a few places just by not having to pit again, or not having to drive on like 80-something% tire wear come the end of the race. I think we'll have one more lap of safety car running since Misha is not gonna catch up in time. Which does help, I think, the medium runners. The less time they have to spend on the green flags, the better they will do towards the end of the race on those tires. If they decide to go to the end, they could also, of course, do a 2-stop from here.
But it's such a slight difference, you know.
Nah, I mean, one lap is gonna be... Believe me, they would rather have that lap than not. Lumi is... Oh no, not Lumi. Boompia is back in the pits.
Boompia.
And onto a medium. That's interesting.
What?
He's just sacrificed the correct tire for the incorrect tire, in my opinion. I mean, he'll be faster early on, but it's also a used medium, I think, which is even worse.
I honestly don't understand.
Maybe I just don't know what I'm talking about, and tire wear is a lot less intense than I thought it was, but I thought for sure the medium would be destroyed by the end. But maybe not.
You know what, let me get my old notes about tire wear in Abu Dhabi. It dates to a few months back, but it's still pretty relevant. Just let me check really quick. So theoretically mediums could last... Oh, okay, this is not good. Because in my notes, I have that mediums dropped to 60% after 11 laps. And that's
we've got 18 to go. This will be fun.
Just going for a 2-stop this stage.
I mean, seeing as how this race went so far, I don't think it's out of the question that we get more safety cars, so... It's not all over for the medium runners, but for sure they are at a disadvantage. So, safety car has been called in. AGK Racing has set the pace through the final sector. You can decide when to restart this race. Sam Arling is right behind him. He's going to try and pass him as soon as he possibly can, to try and start building a gap, to maybe make a 2-stop work, or just make the medium last until the end and hang on to as many places as he possibly can. But here we go. AGK Racing has gone, and the race has been restarted as we go into the final corner. And Sam Arling is all over the back of him, but so is Flume on the back of Sam Arling. Sierra working together quite well there. But no movement down towards turn 1, at least at the front. But Sam Arling, I think he seems to... yeah, he does have a run on AGK here, nice run, down towards the hairpin. And that could be already the chance for him to go up into P1. Of course, he has a tire advantage, especially off the restart here. The hards will be a lot colder than the mediums. As Sapala makes a move already up into P9 against Javier. And someone is round there, I think that's Lars. Lars is round, coming out the hairpin. He has caught it, but he is lost, dropped down to last position. And Sam Arling having a look around the outside of AGK. Not possible for him through there. So AGK Racing still holding on to first position. Sam Arling has got one more really good chance on this lap down in the left-hander coming up. But he's not gonna go for it. AGK Racing leads. Loads of battling in behind as well. I think Daniel and Toby once again, these two have been battling all race, and Daniel with the move on Toby up into 12th. But a lot calmer this time around. No one has gone 3 or 4 or 5 wide anywhere, which is well, less fun for us, I suppose, but maybe an improvement from the driver's perspective in terms of the driving standards, in terms of racing intelligence,
but
for what is best for them.
Now.
Yep, well, the DRS is enabled, and so now it's on. Sam Arling has a very good chance to use this to get up into the lead now. But of course, now that DS is enabled, HVK Racing will also have a much easier time of staying with him, which will hurt Sam Arling. So, down towards the chicane. Dia is enabled for Sam Arling, and I think he's going to simply fly past AGK. No, he's not. Sierra Flume having a look around the outside, and that could be... No, not quite. They make a bit of contact, and Flume now gets attacked by Ryan, who immediately takes advantage and moves up into 3rd place. And Baptiste might also slip through from that, as Flume, Ryan and Baptiste are battling into the left-hander, and Baptiste is gonna go up the inside. Ryan hangs on around the outside though, to 3rd position. But once again, Baptiste having a look around the outside this time. Daniel with a 3-second time penalty. And they battle through the final sector. Not a place usually goes side by side, but Baptiste has pulled off a beautiful move and he's up into 3rd place. Flume losing 2 places though, very critical to first Ryan and then Baptiste. Baptiste moving from 5th to 3rd. He can be very happy with how that lap went for him.
And he hasn't even lost. He's still very much inside the rest zone. 6 tenths, 5 tenths from Sam Arling. So he's still very much in a safe position now.
The entire field still in the same train. No one is dropped out at all. Which is very nice to see. The entire 19 cars that we still have left after Andrew got disqualified under the safety car in the pit lane. All in one piece, all in one train. And all ready to battle for these points, these race wins on the table today. And I see an Alpine pulling out of a slipstream of someone. I think that was Lumi with a move on Boom here. And he goes for the move on Mad Dogs as well. But all the way around the outside, through the exit of the chicane. And they are side by side all the way down to the left-hander hairpin coming up. And I think we also have a battle at the front. No, Sam Arling hasn't gone for any moves. We've got Zipala, Mafio and Bombo 3 wide. Mafio and Bombo still, as I said, Zipala also having a look up the inside of Mafio here. And now around the outside into the hotel section. And Mafio with the inside and has the advantage. Zipala does not concede anything. He keeps his nose in there, but in the end, Mafio pulls ahead and there is not much Zipala can do about it. He has to try again in a couple of corners time. Javier Martin in behind, putting a lot of pressure on as well. I see one of the Alpines, that's Daniel with a move on KJ, but he can't quite pull it off down towards turn 1. Thomas practically pushing Flume through the first sector here. So those hard tires still not quite on the same pace level as the mediums. Is Thomas going to send it up the inside? Not quite. Flume has it covered off, at least for a little while longer. Zipala though with a send on Mafio. And they are side by side down the DRS straight. Mafio's going to get the slipstream. No. Zipala pulls ahead. But here comes Javier Martin. Move for the lead with Sam Arling. Moving up into lead finally past AGK Racing. But is AGK going to come back at him with the DS once again? Down the second DS, so this could be a chance to reclaim the lead. I think Sam Arling is going to let it happen as well. Yep, we saw him derating. The red light flashing. Does not defend it at all. And AGK right back into the lead of the race. And Baptiste still staring at the back of these two. Ryan in 4th place. He's still essentially in a race-winning position here, since his tires will go to the end, unlike Baptiste and Sam's. And with AGK having a penalty, Ryan is looking at an absolutely amazing in what is, of course, XR8's first race in this division. They missed out on qualifying after they finished 11th on qualifying night. But they got to replace Peck after they were removed from the competition for the lack of activity in the first couple of weeks. And now in their first race they could be looking at a race win. They were only invited to very short notice last night when the deadline had passed and Peck hadn't submitted the lineup once again. They were invited to take their place. And here they are, Ryan Banink running in 4th place, already into 3rd place with the penalties applied, and of course pit stop cleaned, 1st place. Zipala with a move on Bombo up into 7th. KJ and Toby side by side through the chicanes. Yellow flag in sector 2 for Leo Lopez, who was round.
Leon.
And AGK being passed by Sam Arling once again. They are side by side still at the front there. Leo is still stopped on track though. He... Oh. Finally moving now. But I think we all know what he was trying to do here. That's gonna be down in the steward's room later on. Flume trying to come back at Thomas here. I think the mediums are showing some wear now, finally. Because they've been on the car for 9 laps, but...
now it's 2 laps to go.
Yeah, I mean, quite a few of them would have been under safety car conditions. They are gonna last a bit longer than usual. But for sure the mediums are no longer at their peak, and Flume is showing that as he's all over the back of Thomas. And Thomas with a bit of a slide to the hairpin, and Flume with a beautiful switchback takes full advantage, and he's gonna move up to 5th place with a way better exit. Thomas has no answer for that.
Ryan as well, it looks like he has more grip compared to Baptiste up in front, so he needs to get past as soon as possible.
Yeah, I mean, Sam Arling is doing a very good job of holding onto that P2. And he seems to purposely not be going for the move on AGK. He's happy to just sit in the DRS. A penalty from Mad Dogs as Leo Lopez in the pit lane as well for probably a wing change after the spin he had. I assume he got some damage maybe from contact with another car. Zapala going around the outside of Thomas, and he's up to 6th place. He's had a really good comeback so far after the crash he's had. But it could all be for naught. I mean, that medium, still 12 laps to go, and it's already... Yeah, I think the hard is faster at this stage. And it's only gonna get worse from here for the medium runners. I mean, if Leo had caused the safety that I think he was trying to cause, that could have actually been very, very good for the likes of Zapala, Sam Arling, and Baptiste running on the mediums, and everybody else as well, of course. First of the medium runners into the pit now, with the EVR driver, KG. And I'm gonna think, it could be a wing change as well, but I think he's just gonna get the tire changed. So yeah, he's going for a 2-stop. And yeah, no wing change, just a strategy decision to go for the undercut compared to the other medium runners, of course. They are still racing each other, but they're not gonna come back towards the guys on the hards. We're going to the end here. At least I don't think they will. It's a very, very long pit lane as well, so they lose loads of time. Bomball moving past Thomas Balger, who goes in the back of him, but hopefully I think, yeah, he got away with that one. No damage for Thomas. And yeah, KJ is 19 seconds back from the pack with 11 laps to go. I think we can safely say he will not be catching back up. We've got Ryan with a move and Baptiste around the outside. Baptiste goes very deep on the brakes, but it's worked out for him. And Baptiste trying to switch back, but just not quite got the overspeed on him. Baptiste now having a look around to Sam Arling. That would have been an absolutely beautiful move. He's going to complete it though. He's on the inside now. Sam leaves him just enough room as they go under the hotel, under the bridge. And Sam Arling gets squeezed off track a little bit. Baptiste moving up to 2nd place. A beautiful maneuver. And a beautiful battle from both sides.
Ryan is trying to look left and right. Ryan is trying to look for a gap at pretty much every corner to try and get past Sam and Baptiste, but he just hasn't found a gap going through sets of 3 because they were battling so much. And Baptiste might actually drop out of DRS now.
Yep, AGK Racing. He has seen the two behind battling, taken the stance, and yeah, deployed all the ERS he had, and all of a sudden he's gone. He's outside 1 second, and Sam Arling now is, well within position to re-overtake Baptiste. But for AGK, this could be his ticket to silvering this race, despite the 3-second time penalty. He needs to make sure he gets that gap to this little train here. And if they're gonna keep battling, look at this, Baptiste dropping 3 places. As Flume with a move on him as well, although Baptiste sends it back in there, squeezes Flume completely off the track. But Flume still, and there comes Zapala as well. Baptiste is being completely eaten up by everyone now. He made a beautiful move on Sam Arling, and all of a sudden, without the DRS, he gets dropped to 6th place from that. Sam Arling is back in DRS range to AGK Racing, so that hasn't worked out quite as well for him either. Zapala's back up into 4th here. He's made a beautiful comeback, I have to say. Javier Martin with a 3-second time penalty. Well, I don't have to say it, but I like to say it. Zapala's done a very good job there to come back after the mistake he made. Once again, though, AGK has almost gotten Sam Arling out of the ERS range. Now he's got them out of the ERS range.
He definitely has. So slow at this moment.
Yeah, this is not over for AGK. He could still win this race despite the 3-second time penalty. He's gotten the train out of DRS range twice now, and I think this time with Ryan a bit further behind Sam Arling than Sam was to Baptiste, this could be his chance to actually keep the 1 second gap this time around as well. Daniel with a move on Thomas, who keeps dropping further and further. His tires are destroyed. I mean, he's been dropping places for so long now, and Daniel's going to clean around his outside, and I think Loom is going to follow through as well. Yep, Daniel giving him the toe, and Thomas cannot defend it. As they're now actually 3 wide. 2 wide, in behind. Thomas trying to come back at Daniel, but not quite possible. Has to back out, and both Venox cars getting past Thomas there. Swap for P2 as Brian moves past Sam Arling, and Sepala coming in as well, trying to go clean around the outside. Is that possible for him? Not quite. He's still stuck behind Sam for at least another lap. 1.4 seconds from AGK to Ryan, and AGK with another 3-second time penalty. You know, near the start of the race, Kinetic wrote in chat, "We'd love to drink with AGK because AGK is the bottler," and it couldn't be like closer to the truth. 2 times now he had the race in his hands, it seemed, and then he got a time penalty, and he's kind of thrown away with that. He could have gotten the 3 seconds to Ryan, but he's not going to get 6. So that's AGK's chances of winning this race, I think, down the drain. There's no question about it in my mind.
Ryan is in the best spot to win the race right now. And
Flume with a send on Sepala. They go side by side on the exit. I think Sepala got a better exit. He got a bit of slipstream as well from Sam Arling up ahead, which will get him clear of Flume once again. And Sepala might turn the fence into attack, but there comes Flume once again. They're 4 wide into chicane. Sepala backs out 3 wide now. Ryan, Flume, and Sam. And there is a bit of contact, I think, between Flume and Sam. And now Flume side by side with Ryan on the exit. They are battling for what could be the race win here. And they bang wheels all the way down the straight. And there comes Sepala flying past both of them, and maybe Sam Arling as well. Sepala going all the way around the outside. Flume ending up in 5th place. Ryan looking for a gap as well. Flume looking for a gap on the inside of Ryan. Sepala and Sam now side by side. Sepala pulls ahead up into 2nd place of this race. 8 laps to go. And all of a sudden, Sepala has come all the way back to where he was before his crash.
Sepala does not absolutely care that this is 13 laps old.
He doesn't look like his tires are 13 lap old mediums. He looks like he's still on fresh tires. It's incredible what he's just done. He's just passed them all in one go. Absolutely beautiful. I mean, all of a sudden, also the gap is up to 3.3 seconds. This battling is helping AGK. Maybe I spoke too soon and he couldn't get 6 seconds. He might still be able to make it work, especially because Sepala and Sam, they're gonna keep holding these guys up on their old tires.
And Sepala was looking extremely fast in the straights as well, so you think he has lower wings, and with lower wings you theoretically should have more tire wear. So it just doesn't add up, because Sepala is just driving as he's been on fresh mediums all this time.
Sam Arling backing out of the move on Sepala, doesn't want to pass him into chicane, but in behind, 2 by 2 here between Ryan, Baptiste, Flume and Bombol. Oh, there's contact and there gets crash! Flume is out of the race! They made contact, they locked wheels on the exit, there's a full core safety deployed! Flume and Bombol, I think it was, locking wheels coming out of the chicane. And from then the F124 contact model does its thing and they both get turned into the barrier. Flume comes out worst and his race is over. Bombol also lost his entire front wing. And now, with 7 laps to go, all of a sudden the safety guys turned the race upside down again. It saved all of the medium runners from what would have been a very, very tough end to the race for them. And AGK Racing, he had the gap that he needed, almost. He was well on his way to building a 6-second gap. That gap is gone once again. And Sepala has come back from the crash he had. He did have to have another safety car save him, but still, he did the work to get back into P2. And a penalty for looming with a severe collision with Baptiste. They made contact on a safety car. Unfortunately, he's going to have to serve that in the pit lane now, so it will not be removable. And Daniel is behind him, so Daniel is going to get caught behind his teammate, serving a 10-second penalty.
This is absolute chaos in the pit lane. There's double stacks and so much traffic going on, and so many different strategies. And
Sepala! Sepala with a crash in the pit exit!
Oh no.
I think he got away without damage, but he has dropped the place to Ryan. Or has he? Yeah, he has dropped the place.
No damage. No.
Yep, he has dropped the place to Ryan with that, but he hasn't gotten damage. Jesus, what is this race? What is this race? Well, I can tell you what this race is all up in the air once again. Everybody who's still left in the race is back in the fight. AGK Racing leads still. He's been leading the entire way through pretty much. But yeah, with a 6-second time penalty, he's gonna lose loads of places. Sepala on the medium, he's back up to second place actually, so Ryan has let him back through it seems. Interesting.
And I have to say, I'm not sure if the softs are the best tire. It's 5 laps and those softs were very, very quickly. So they could reach the point where mediums start being faster than softs.
Yeah, it's an interesting decision. I mean, most have gone softs, but I think I also would have done the same as Sepala and gone for the mediums. Which checks out since Lars also did the same, so I'm very glad to see that the NLR drivers are in agreement with me. But yeah, I mean the soft will help you early on, which could be crucial as well for the positions that you gain then, and then try to just hold on. And the medium will be important later on, which could then be more important for Sepala as he already has a track position, so... Interesting to see how this goes. KJ has stayed out on his 5 level, of course he did an undercut earlier, and now his mediums are a bit more worn, but he has gotten a few track positions from that. Also, now he's back in the pit actually, never mind. KJ into the pit lane as well. And he gets a 10-second penalty for ignoring yellow flags, which is interesting. I guess he overtook cars in the pit entry, and that counts as ignoring yellow flags. That's just weird. But I don't think it matters, he would have been last after this pit stop anyway, so thankfully the penalty will not affect him in any way. And yeah, he's gonna serve now in the pit entry as well, in the pit lane as well, sorry. Yeah, Leo is in as well, so he's in the same position that he would have been anyway.
The Abu Dhabi pit lane is so messy in here because you can really understand where you can or cannot overtake without getting a penalty, and also sometimes the game just throws you a track limits warning for no reason, even if you get the entry right. Yeah,
the pit lane is a bit broken, unfortunately.
And that was on F123 as well.
Okay, KJ coming out on fresh tires in 17th then. But yeah, we'll go into essentially a 5-lap sprint. Oh, Flume with a disconnect. Oh no, he crashed, of course, never mind. We'll go into the 5-lap sprint at the end here with AGK in the lead on the 6-second time penalty, followed by Sepala on the mediums. Ryan Bunning right behind him. He could be in a good position to win this race as well. He has the advantage early on the soft. The tires will be a lot warmer after restart, and of course softs are just faster than mediums in general. And then we have Sam Arling in 4th position. Of course for AMR, they are currently championship leaders. Would be quite crucial for him to pick up a good point. His teammate Javier in 11th, he's got a time penalty of 3 seconds, which will cost him. Baptiste running in a very strong 5th place for HOT as well. He's been having a very strong race. Safety car has now been called in very late. So AGK is going to have to slow down quite a bit, and he has to go late, otherwise he will just drive right into the safety car. So safety car in the pit lane now. AGK can go at any moment he wants to. As we go to the final corner, when is he going to decide to go? He's gone, and Sepala has reacted very well. He's right behind the Mercedes, down towards turn 1, but once again, no movement to turn 1. The straight is not long enough to really make anything happen. I think, I think it's a time penalty for Mafio now in 7th place there. Very unfortunate for him, that could cost him the final few points he's been hanging on to. Sepala defending the inside against Ryan. Ryan going to the outside instead. And is he going to complete the move? They're still side by side on the exit. It looks like AGK is going to give Sepala the slipstream, so we would rather have Sepala right behind him than Ryan, it seems. And that does allow Sepala to pull back ahead. And he hangs on the 2nd place, but Ryan goes back up the inside! A beautiful send, and he's up in the 2nd place.
Yeah, he knows he has to make the move happen as soon as possible with those softs, because he cannot afford to drop DRS, and he also just needs to use the tire grip as soon as possible, because it won't be long for those softs start to drop off and the mediums start to be faster.
Yep, I mean, you can already tell I think the mediums are not bad at all. Zapata is right on the back of Ryan. I mean, you could tell the advantage from the soft from the fact that Ryan was able to go around the outside like that and then also send it up the inside right in the next corner. But Zapala, those mediums you can tell, are definitely not slow whatsoever either. So the fight for the race win seems to be between Zapala and Ryan now. Sam Marling lurking in behind. He's ready to pick up any pieces that get left by these guys up ahead. Ryan is just about hanging on to the DRS of AGK, which is absolutely crucial for him. Not for the 6-second penalty of AGK, I think that's out of the question. But mainly just for making sure he stays ahead of Zapala. And Zapala might actually have to hope that AGK can gap Ryan, so it makes it easier for him to pass Ryan at the end of the race. But here comes Zapala with a move down towards the chicane. He's in the slipstream past Ryan and goes back up into second place. Lumi late on the brakes, almost got in the back of Sam Arling, but just about he was fine there. Daniel and Thomas battling over 8th, and it is Daniel comes on top. Thomas with the bad exit, under pressure from Toby also now. And there comes Javier Martin and Lars van der Linden as well, getting involved in the the fight for the final few points paying positions here. Bit of contact up ahead as well between Thomas and Toby, and Lars having a look up the inside on Toby, which will turn to the outside for next corner. A bit of contact made. Can Lars go all the way around the outside? He gets caught behind Thomas, but still the side by side with Toby, and Lars completes the move in the end and moves up to 10th place. Very nice battle there between the three of them. You'll love to see it. And Lars already having a look up the inside of Thomas into the second to last corner, a flat out corner, and there comes Lars right up the inside. Not a move I expected to see, but he's pulled it off.
He's not losing any time at all. There is just so much scrambling between the entire grid, and Zapala is now still defending the lead, still inside DRS, so he could still have an advantage over Ryan once we go on the straight up turn 5. So he could still maintain the lead and maybe even catch AGK Racing. And if he puts AGK Racing between himself and Ryan, he could very much defend this race win even more efficiently.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he wants to stay behind and have the DRS or put him in between himself and Ryan, but either one could work. The one thing that Zapala doesn't want is that they both pass AGK at once. That could cost him quite a bit. Unless, I suppose, Ryan passes them both at once, and then Ryan is the one with the without DRS. But Ryan, with a move on Zapala back up into P2, can Zapala defend this around the outside? Ryan switches to the outside actually. AGK boxes Zapala in, and Ryan goes all the way around the outside. Zapala and Ryan side by side for the race win into the final sector, and Zapala is gonna try and hang on around the outside, and now Ryan back to the outside has a bit of a moment, and that allows Zapala to pull ahead. And in this battle at least Zapala comes out on top, and now Lumi is looking at Ryan Banink for third position. Of course he does have a time penalty. And maybe for Zapala this could be really good if Lumi gets involved in this battle and just costs Ryan a bit of ERS, a bit of time. That gives Zapala time to breathe. Recharge at ERS a bit, of course. I have the ERS enabled right now, so I can't give any advantage to engineers or anything who are watching the stream. But maybe you know a bit more about the ERS, but don't tell us, of course. The whole point would be ruined then. So, Zapala, 5/10 back from AGK. It's a good gap. He is, I think, gone a bit low on the ERS for the first sector, just to create a gap to AGK so he can go fast down the straight here without necessarily passing him. And yeah, he's going to try and stick behind AGK, and that, of course, could also be Ryan's chance. And there's a battle in behind. Look at Mafio sending up the inside of Sam Marling and Baptiste there into the chicane. And then we have Zapala and Lumi battling over us. Lumi's gone for the move on both Ryan and then Zapala as well. Couldn't quite get Zapala. But now Zapala has a buffer between himself and Ryan as we head into the last 1.5 laps of this race. Ryan back up the inside of Lumi. This is absolutely crucial for the race, and he needs to make this move happen if he wants a chance of passing Zapala. But I don't think he's going to pull it off, although he might... No. Lumi is pulled fully ahead, and Ryan has now got a car between himself and Zapala looks home clean for the race win. And a massive moment for Lumi, creating a bigger gap in behind as well. Baptiste having looked instead of Ryan for what would be second place in this race. But as we move into the last lap, a time penalty for Bomball Pro running in 15th. AGK Racing leads on track. Zapala in second place. his closest competitor, Ryan Banink, for XR8. What a debut race it has been for him and his team. They can be very happy with that, even though it does not look like a race will be quite possible unless he can pull off an absolute miracle. Baptiste having a look up the inside though as well. Into the hairpin, not quite possible, but look at Mafia around the outside, and Lars getting involved as well as he makes a move on Sam Arling. Where's Lars come from all of a sudden in this battle for the podium places? But up at the front, Sepala not going for any moves. Mafio, Lumi, Ryan battling into chicane. And Mafio very late on the brakes, goes up the inside of Lumi. They make contact. Lars and Sam Arling battling in behind as well. The medium's clearly faster now. Sepala with a move on AGK Racing to take the win on track as well. Mafio and Lumi side by side into the long left-hander. Mafio tries to go all the way around the outside. Lewis Hamilton style. Lumi is all the way sideways. Mafio has to take off the track to avoid the collision. And look at this in behind, 3 wide, and that's Sam Arling around Lars off the track as well. What on earth is going on here? But as we go to the front, Sepala, after the spinning yet, after causing the first safety car, losing his entire front wing, he's back in P1 and he's gonna win the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. 2 races, 2 NLR wins, and Sepala wins in absolutely amazing fashion. Baptiste brings home 2nd place for HRT. It's Ryan Banink for XR8 on their debut in 3rd. Toby for LR in 4th. Lars ends up in 5th after all of that chaos in the last lap as well. A great result for NLR, P1 and P5. And I think then it was Sam Arling in 6th. I couldn't see the rest of the results. What a race it has been here in Abu Dhabi. Drive of the day goes to Mafio.
One of the craziest things I've seen.
We have so many candidates drive of the day. I mean, the likes of Sepala with a great comeback, Ryan Banink from all the way at the back of the grid, Lars with a great comeback as well. But for me, there is no other option than going for Sepala. I mean, coming back in the way he did from that crash he had. He made his way back up to P2. Admittedly, the 2nd safety car, was very, very lucky for him. But it was very lucky for everyone who was on his strategy, which was like half the grid. And he's the one who came out on top. So you cannot put this down to luck. He had an absolutely amazing race and did, yeah. Apart from that one spin, which, well, is quite a bad mistake, but he's made up for it more than enough with the race win here. And, yeah. Baptiste with a great result for HOT and Ryan with a great result for XR8. We've got Mafio coming home in 7th from 19th on the grid as well. With a great race for him as well for EVR after they had a terrible qualifying. Thomas coming home in 8th. AGK only 9th after 2nd on track, leading for so long with a fast lap as well though for him at least. Boompian in 10th, then Misha 11th, Javier in 12th, Mad Dogs 13th, Daniel 14th, Bombon in 15th, KJ in 16th, Lumin in 17th, Leon 18th, then Flume and Angel with not with DNFs or DSQ for Angel. Wow. Those are the provisional results. I think with what we saw today, it's quite likely we see a lot of stewarding penalties, and with how close they all finish in the end, that could jumble up the order quite a bit. But, yeah, what a race it has been, and what a start the season has been for the esports division. Gabri, any final words from your side? Anything you want to say?
I'm just speechless, to be honest. We've seen all sorts of incidents with cars going 5 wide into lap 1, so many safety cars, some crashes, so many penalties with track limits, and even stewards penalties that I think will be even more than the track limits penalties. And then Sepala just driving like he had no tire wear at all, despite his strategy. I just have to agree, it was a beautiful comeback and a very deserved race win. Yeah, position could still get changed with the stewards penalties, but I do think NLR will safely be in the championship lead after this round.
Yeah, not a great result for AMR, our championship leaders, so NLR I think taking the lead from here. I haven't done the math, but it seems right what you're saying. Yeah, very, very glad that I got to commentate this race, and I want to thank you all for watching us. Yeah, our next race will be on Wednesday, the Division 2 title decider. I'm sure Gabri is looking very much forward to that one. At Brazil, at Wednesday, 7:30 PM UK. I'll be commentating that one, hopefully, and I think together with Jonathan. And obviously Gabri will be battling for the championship together with Sully and PC Woody. So we're very much looking forward to that one as well. The current championship situation in there is Sully on 161 points, followed by Gabri, 8 points behind, on 153. And then PC Woody on 146, he is 15 behind Sully and 7 behind Gabri. So it's a three-way title battle in Division 2. And yeah, that should be very exciting. So I hope you'll be tuning in to that on Wednesday. And of course, next week as well in the Esports division, we'll be back with the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix around the Jeddah Corniche circuit, which will be a wet race. So that will be very, very interesting to see how the drivers handle a wet Jeddah. One of the most difficult tracks on the calendar as is, and then you make it wet as well. That could be absolute scenes. So yeah. With that, I would like to thank you all for watching once again, and I hope you all enjoy your evening. See you all on Wednesday for Division 2, and next week for the next race in the Esports division. Have a good weekend, and goodbye.